My beloved friends, I am Paramahansa Yogananda, and today I must share with you a truth so profound, so revolutionary, that it will completely transform how you understand the relationship between karma, death, and the divine orchestration of human existence. What if I told you that early death is not punishment, not random tragedy, not divine cruelty, but rather a precise mathematical equation of spiritual evolution that most teachers refuse to discuss because they fear it challenges everything you believe about life and divine justice. This is not philosophy meant to comfort weaving hearts with empty words. This is the actual mechanics of how karma operates in determining the length and quality of human incarnation, revealed through decades of deep meditation and direct communion with the infinite consciousness. Before we begin this sacred journey into understanding, I need you to activate the frequency of this teaching by writing in the comments, "I accept the divine wisdom of karmic law and awaken to my eternal nature." Write this now, because what I am about to reveal requires your consciousness to be aligned with receptivity. This is not mere superstition. When you declare this statement, your subconscious mind opens portals of understanding that remain closed to the skeptical intellect. The universe responds to your declaration of readiness. Write it now and let us proceed into the depths of this sacred knowledge. The world looks at early death and sees only tragedy. A young person passes away and humanity cries out, asking why God would be so cruel, why the universe would allow such injustice, why innocent souls are taken before they have lived full lives. I have sat with countless grieving families who demanded answers from me, who looked into my eyes seeking explanation that would ease their unbearable pain. And what I witnessed in those moments of anguish was not just human suffering, but a fundamental misunderstanding of how consciousness moves to the eternal cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. You see, the question itself reveals the problem. When you ask why someone died early, you are operating from the illusion that this single lifetime is all that exists, that the soul's journey begins at birth and ends at death, that the span of years in one body determines the value or success of an eternal being's evolution. Let me take you deeper into what actually happens behind the veil of physical existence. Through my practice of Kriya Yoga and the profound states of Samadhi I have experienced, I have witnessed directly how karma operates as the supreme organizing principle of consciousness. Karma is not punishment delivered by an angry deity sitting in judgment of human behavior. Karma is cause and effect operating at the level of consciousness itself. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every action you take creates a vibrational signature in the fabric of reality. These signatures accumulate across not just this lifetime, but across countless incarnations, creating what the ancient texts call samskaras, the deep grooves of tendency and habit that shape the soul's trajectory through time and space. When a soul incarnates into physical form, it brings with it the entire accumulated karmic record of all previous existences. This record determines not just the circumstances of birth, the family lineage, the opportunities and challenges that will be encountered, but also the precise duration of that particular incarnation. Now listen carefully to what I am about to reveal, because this is where most spiritual teachings become vague and avoid the uncomfortable truth. The length of a human life is determined before birth by the karmic requirements of that soul's evolutionary journey. Some souls require 80 or 90 years in a physical body to learn specific lessons, burn through certain karmic debts, or accomplish particular missions for the elevation of human consciousness. Other souls require only a few years, months, or even days. This is not arbitrary. This is not divine caprice. This is the precise calculation of cosmic intelligence determining exactly how much physical experience is necessary for that particular consciousness to advance to its next stage of evolution. When you understand this, the entire question of early death transforms from tragedy into recognition of karmic completion. I know what your mind is doing right now. You are thinking about specific cases that seem to contradict this teaching. The child who dies of illness, the young parent taken in an accident leaving orphan children, The brilliant artist whose life is cut short before their masterpiece is completed. Your emotional mind rebels against the idea that these deaths were predetermined, that they served some higher purpose, that they were anything other than senseless loss. But this rebellion comes from the ego's attachment to physical form and its identification with the drama of earthly existence. Let me guide you into deeper understanding that transcends emotional reaction and touches the eternal truth of your being. When a soul chooses to incarnate for a brief period, that choice is made at the level of the higher self, the aspect of your consciousness that exists beyond the limitations of the physical mind and personality. Before you were born into this body, before you took your first breath in this incarnation, your higher self reviewed the karmic ledger of all your previous lifetimes and determined precisely what experiences would be necessary to advance your evolution. Sometimes what appears to others as early death is actually the completion of a very specific karmic assignment. Perhaps that soul needed to experience the sensation of physical birth and infancy to balance karma created in a previous life where they caused harm to children. Perhaps that consciousness required only a brief incarnation to teach profound lessons about impermanence and love to the souls who would grieve their passing. Perhaps the vibration of that person's presence on earth for even a short time shifted the collective consciousness in ways that could not have been accomplished to a longer life. I want you to understand something that will revolutionize your relationship with death itself. The soul is eternal. Consciousness cannot be destroyed. What you call death is simply the moment when consciousness withdraws from one physical vehicle and returns to the astral realm to prepare for its next incarnation. From the perspective of the eternal soul, spending 20 years in a physical body versus spending 80 years is like the difference between a short vacation and a long journey. Both have value. Both provide experiences, but neither determines the fundamental worth or success of your eternal existence. The soul accumulates wisdom and burns karma through quality of consciousness, not quantity of years. A person who lives in deep meditation, divine awareness, and selfless service for 20 years accomplishes more spiritual evolution than someone who lives in unconscious habit and selfish desire for 80 years. Now I must share with you the mechanism through which karma actually determines lifespan, because this is where the practical application of this knowledge begins. Every human being is born with what the yogic science calls prana, the life force energy that animates the physical body and sustains biological functions. This prana is not unlimited. You are born with a specific reservoir of life force determined by your karmic patterns. The rate at which you consume this prana determines how long your physical body can be sustained. Most people waste their life force through unconscious living, through anxiety and stress, through identification with the endless drama of thoughts and emotions, through shallow breathing that never fully charges the cells with vitality, through sensory indulgence that depletes rather than nourishes the nervous system. They burn through their allotted prana rapidly, and when the reservoir is empty, the soul must withdraw from the body. Death occurs. But here is what changes everything. Through the practice of Kriya Yoga, through scientific meditation techniques that I brought from the Himalayan masters to serve humanity, you can actually slow down and even reverse the consumption of prana. When you enter deep states of meditation, your breath becomes so subtle that it almost ceases. Your heart rate slows dramatically. Your metabolism enters a state of profound rest that is deeper than sleep. In these moments, you are not consuming prana. You are actually recharging it. The yogis who live for hundreds of years, whose existence seems impossible by conventional medical understanding, have mastered the science of prana conservation. They spend hours each day in states of consciousness where the body's demands are reduced to almost nothing, where the life force is not being drained but replenished from the infinite reservoir of cosmic energy that sustains all creation. Do you see what this means? The predetermined lifespan is not absolutely fixed. It is a baseline calculation based on your karmic patterns and typical rates of prana consumption. But you have the power to extend or contract this timeline to the quality of your consciousness. When you live in chronic stress, when you allow your mind to be constantly agitated by worry and fear, When you engage in behaviors that deplete your nervous system, you accelerate the consumption of your life force and move toward death more rapidly. Conversely, when you establish a daily practice of deep meditation, when you learn to conserve prana through yogic breathing techniques, when you cultivate inner peace and divine awareness, you slow down the karmic clock and can extend your physical existence far beyond what was originally encoded in your karmic blueprint. But here's the profound paradox that I must help you understand. The goal is not simply to live as long as possible. The goal is to use whatever time you have been given to achieve self-realization, to awaken to your true nature as an eternal soul that has never been born and will never die, to burn through the karma that keeps you bound to the wheel of reincarnation, and to merge your consciousness back into the infinite ocean of divine awareness from which you emerged. Some souls accomplish this in 20 years of intense spiritual practice. Other souls wander through 80 years of unconscious existence, making no progress whatsoever toward liberation. From the perspective of the soul's ultimate purpose, which life was most successful, when a spiritually advanced being leaves the body at what appears to be an early age, it is often because they have completed their karmic work in this incarnation. They have learned what they came to learn, taught what they came to teach, given what they came to give. There is no need to remain in the physical form. The soul is ready to move on to higher planes of existence. This is not tragedy. This is graduation. The grief that others feel is natural and human, but it comes from identifying with physical form rather than recognizing the eternal nature of consciousness. I have seen through direct perception and deep meditation how these souls transition into realms of light and bliss, how they are greeted by spiritual guides and loved ones who have passed before them, how they review the incarnation they just completed with clarity and understanding, seeing how every experience, including the timing of their death, served their evolution perfectly. Let me share with you a technique that will transform your relationship with death and karma. Every night, 60 seconds before you allow yourself to drift into sleep, I want you to enter a state of deep stillness. Lie on your back, close your eyes, and watch your breath without trying to control it. Allow your body to become completely relaxed, releasing all tension from muscles and mind. In this state of quietude, your conscious mind loosens its grip and your subconscious becomes receptive to new programming. This is the moment when you can work directly with your karmic patterns. In this state, make this declaration with complete conviction and feeling: I am an eternal soul beyond birth and death. My consciousness is one with the infinite. I use this incarnation to burn karma and realize my divine nature. When my work here is complete, I transition consciously and fearlessly into higher realms. Feel the truth of these words. Do not just recite them mechanically. Allow them to resonate in your entire being. Your subconscious mind accepts as absolute truth whatever you feel intensely in states of heightened receptivity. By impressing this awareness into your deeper consciousness, you begin to shift your fundamental identity from the temporary personality to the eternal soul. This practice does something remarkable at the karmic level. When you consistently affirm your eternal nature and your divine purpose, you begin to align your daily actions with soul consciousness rather than ego consciousness. This alignment automatically reduces the creation of new negative karma because you are operating from wisdom rather than ignorance, from love rather than fear, from service rather than selfishness. You begin to burn through existing karma more rapidly because you are meeting life's challenges with awareness rather than reaction. The quality of your consciousness elevates, and with it, the efficiency of your karmic resolution. What might have taken multiple lifetimes to work through can be accomplished in years or even months when you apply these principles with dedication and understanding. Now, I must address the most difficult aspect of this teaching. What about those who die through violence, accident, or sudden tragedy? How does karma explain these deaths that seem so random and unjust? This is where you must understand the intricate web of interconnected karma that binds all souls together in the grand tapestry of existence. No event is isolated. No death is purely individual. Every soul that incarnates enters into karmic relationships with hundreds or thousands of other souls, relationships that span across multiple lifetimes. Sometimes the soul agrees before birth to play a specific role in another soul's karmic drama, even if that role involves being an instrument of their death. This does not mean the person who causes death is free from karmic consequences. They accumulate their own karma through their actions. But it means that even deaths that appear tragic and untimely are part of a larger karmic orchestration that serves the evolution of all souls involved. I have witnessed through deep meditation how souls negotiate these agreements before incarnation. Two souls who have intertwined karma from previous lifetimes will arrange to meet again in the physical realm to resolve that karma. Sometimes this resolution involves one soul helping the other achieve liberation through spiritual teaching. Sometimes it involves one soul causing the death of the other, balancing karma created when their roles were reversed in a previous incarnation. The personality that experiences the death has no conscious memory of this soul agreement, which is why it feels like random tragedy. But the higher self, the eternal consciousness that orchestrated the incarnation, knows exactly what is happening and why. This is not meant to diminish the very real pain and grief that death causes for those left behind, but it is meant to provide a framework of understanding that brings meaning to what otherwise appears meaningless. Here is what you must do with this knowledge. You cannot control when death will come for you or for those you love. The karmic timeline is set at levels beyond your conscious manipulation, but you can control the quality of consciousness you bring to every moment of existence. You can choose to live each day as if it is your last opportunity to express divine love, to serve others selflessly, to deepen your meditation practice, to burn through ego identification and awaken to your true nature. When you live this way, death loses its power over you. You are no longer unconsciously consuming your life force through worry about the future or regret about the past. You are fully present, fully alive, using your prana efficiently and purposefully. Paradoxically, this often extends life because you are not wasting the precious energy that sustains physical existence. But even if death comes tomorrow, you will have used today in the most spiritually productive way possible. The practice I'm giving you now must become your foundation. Every single night without exception, 60 seconds before sleep, enter that state of receptive quietude. But now I want you to add a specific component focused on karma and death. After making your declaration of eternal identity, add this command to your subconscious that consciously dissolve all karmic patterns that no longer serve my highest evolution. I fearlessly accept the divine timing of all transitions. I live fully and die consciously when my soul's work is complete. The word command is crucial here. You are not asking or hoping, you are declaring from the authority of your divine nature. The subconscious mind responds to commands issued with conviction and emotional intensity. When you consistently program your deeper consciousness with this awareness, several things begin to happen automatically. You start noticing karmic patterns playing out in your daily life. You recognize when you are reacting from old conditioning versus responding from conscious awareness. You begin making choices that serve your spiritual evolution rather than perpetuating karmic cycles. You develop an inner knowing about your own life purpose and how long you need to remain in physical form to accomplish it. Some of you listening to this are feeling resistance. Your ego mind is generating objections, trying to dismiss this teaching as fatalistic or cold. But I am not teaching fatalism. I am teaching conscious participation in the karmic process. Fatalism says nothing matters because everything is predetermined. What I am teaching is that your level of consciousness determines how you experience and respond to your karma, and that response creates your future karma. You are not a helpless victim of cosmic forces. You are a divine soul with the power to accelerate your evolution through applied spiritual science. The techniques I am sharing are not theory. They are practical methods that I have tested through decades of intensive practice and transmitted to thousands of students who have verified their effectiveness through direct experience. Let me give you the complete practice that integrates everything I have shared. Starting tonight, establish this routine without fail. 1 hour before sleep, discontinue all stimulating activities. No screens, no intense conversations, no consumption of news or entertainment. Sit comfortably and practice 20 minutes of meditation using whatever technique you have learned. If you know Kriya Yoga, practice your Kriyas. If not, simply watch your breath flowing in and out, gently bringing your attention back whenever the mind wanders. This meditation begins the process of withdrawing life force from the senses and redirecting it inward for regeneration. After meditation, prepare for bed mindfully, treating these actions as sacred rather than mechanical. As you lie down, take several deep breaths, tensing and relaxing your entire body with each exhale to release physical tension. Then, in that crucial 60 seconds before sleep, enter absolute stillness. This is when your conscious mind is most relaxed and your subconscious is most receptive. In this state, speak directly to your deeper consciousness with these words, feeling each statement as absolute truth. I am an eternal soul beyond birth and death. I consciously dissolve all limiting karma. I use this incarnation efficiently for spiritual evolution. I accept the divine timing of all transition. When my soul's work is complete, I leave this body consciously and merge with infinite light. After making this declaration, release all effort and allow yourself to drift into sleep naturally. Practice this without exception for 30 consecutive nights. Within this period, you will begin to notice profound shifts. Dreams become more vivid and meaningful, often revealing karmic patterns or past life memories. Synchronicities increase as your consciousness aligns with the natural flow of cosmic order. Fear of death diminishes noticeably as your identity shifts from personality to soul. You find yourself making different choices automatically, choices that serve your evolution rather than perpetuate suffering. These are not magical results. They are the natural consequences of consistently programming your subconscious mind with truth and aligning your consciousness with divine law. The subconscious accepts as fact whatever you impress upon it with feeling and repetition. By declaring your eternal nature and conscious relationship with karma every night in that receptive state, you are literally rewiring your deepest beliefs about who you are and how reality operates. I must emphasize something crucial about results. Do not practice this technique while watching for evidence that it is working. That watching comes from doubt and actually blocks the process. Instead, practice with complete faith, knowing that universal law operates with absolute precision whether you see immediate results or not. Your job is to consistently apply the technique. The universal job is to orchestrate the results. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust the process, water it regularly, and allow natural law to work. This practice operates on the same principle. You are planting seeds of awakened consciousness in your subconscious soil. Trust the divine intelligence that governs all growth and manifestation. Now, within the next 24 hours, you will begin to notice subtle but unmistakable signs that this teaching has activated something in your consciousness. You might have unusually vivid dreams about death or past lives. You might find yourself thinking about mortality in a new way, without fear or morbid fascination, but with calm acceptance and curiosity. You might notice karmic patterns playing out in your relationships with sudden clarity, seeing how present situations mirror past dynamics. These are not coincidences. When you engage with spiritual truth at this depth, your entire system begins to reorganize itself around that truth. The universe conspires to support your evolution once you demonstrate through consistent practice that you are serious about awakening. Pay attention to these signs. They are confirmations that you are on the right path, that the technique is working, that your consciousness is indeed shifting from fear-based ego identification to love-based soul awareness. Everything I have shared with you today comes from direct realization, not intellectual speculation. I have experienced death consciously multiple times in deep states of samadhi where the soul voluntarily leaves the body and travels to higher astral realms before returning. I have witnessed the death process of advanced yogis who left their bodies at will when their earthly mission was complete, sitting in meditation posture and consciously withdrawing life force from the physical form. I have communicated with souls who have passed beyond the physical plane and received their testimony about the continuity of consciousness and the perfect justice of karmic law. What I am teaching you is not philosophy meant to comfort your mind. It is practical knowledge meant to transform your life and prepare you for conscious transition when your time comes. Whether that transition happens in 5 years or 50 years, you will meet it as a spiritual warrior, fully awake, recognizing it as the next stage of your eternal journey rather than a terrifying end. Before we complete this transmission, I need you to take action that will anchor this teaching in your consciousness and signal your commitment to your own evolution. Write in the comment section right now, I am an eternal soul mastering karma and death. This is not superstition. This is the principle of sankalpa, the power of focused intention to create reality. When you publicly declare your spiritual commitment, you activate forces in your subconscious and in the quantum field that begin working on your behalf. The universe responds to clear intention backed by action. Commenting is your action. It demonstrates you are ready to receive the full benefits of this teaching. Do it now and feel the shift that occurs in your energy as you make this declaration. My beloved friends, the truth about karma and early death is neither cruel nor comforting in the way the emotional mind seeks comfort. It is simply truth as precise and impersonal as mathematical law, but within that truth lies tremendous freedom. When you understand that you are in eternal consciousness, having a temporary physical experience, that your true nature cannot be harmed or destroyed, that every event, including death, serves your evolution, then fear loses its grip on your life. You become free to live fully, love deeply, serve selflessly, and practice meditation intensely, knowing that you are using your time here for its highest purpose. This is the wisdom I have dedicated my life to sharing. Apply it, practice it. Verify it through your own direct experience, and when your time comes to leave this body, you so consciously, gratefully, and fearlessly, ready for the next adventure of your eternal soul.